A win is a win is a win, and the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark go up against the Las Vegas Aces and last year's MVP, A'ja Wilson, and walk away with a W, 80-70. Sophie Cunningham has been hot to trot. Sophie Cunningham has been on fire.
Candace Parker just did something that sent the WNBA into a complete meltdown. The two-time MVP and future Hall of Famer ranked Angel Reese as a C-tier player, and the backlash was instant and furious. But Parker didn't back down. Why? Because she knows something that casual fans and media analysts have been ignoring. Angel Reese's celebrated double-doubles are a statistical mirage. They don't lead to wins. In fact, damning on-court evidence reveals that Reese's presence on the floor often hurts her team more than it helps. This isn't just a controversial opinion, it's the exposure of a truth that will change how you see the WNBA's rising stars forever.
Back in the W shot.
Oh, that was a gut check win right there. Oh, that's in the chat.
Yes, Natasha Howard!
Right.
That was a fun one. My gosh, and these jerseys are swaggy.
When a two-time MVP and future Hall of Famer like Candace Parker speaks, the basketball world listens. On a highly publicized tier list, Parker methodically sorted the WNBA's talent, and her assessment was built on a career of championship-level basketball IQ. In the Elite S tier, she placed the undisputed titans of the league, A'ja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Napheesa Collier, players who are synonymous with winning. In the A tier, she placed proven stars and rising forces like Caitlin Clark, acknowledging her undeniable ability to elevate her entire team. Then came the moment that sent shockwaves through the internet.
Obviously, there's no timeline for Caitlin, but what has she been able to do this last week? Is it mostly just rehab recovery, or has she been able to do any kinds of practice?
Yeah, no, I mean, we haven't really practiced since the couple days before All-Star break. So mostly rehab, shooting, and she's been with our athletic training team, and we've been preparing everybody else.
Parker placed Angel Reese firmly in the C tier, grouping her with players who are still developing and trying to find their footing. Her reasoning was brutal in its cold, hard logic. To be in the upper tiers, Parker explained, you must be a number 1 or 2 option, someone capable of carrying a team to victory. She credited Reese for being fantastic in her specific role as an offensive rebounder, but made it crystal clear that being a role player isn't the same as being a franchise cornerstone.
Steph, Caitlin presents a challenge in itself for any opponent, but when she doesn't play, how is your team different?
I think our ball moves differently. What we run is different. She has such gravity, and her ability, not just to be the top of the scouting report, but her ability to make everybody better with the ball in her hands. So some of the things that we run are different when she's on the floor than when she's not. We run some more off-ball stuff. A lot less on-ball actions.
The backlash was immediate. It was furious. Angel Reese's massive fan base flooded social media, accusing Parker of being a hater and dismissing her expert analysis as little more than jealousy. The popular narrative was that the self-proclaimed double-double queen was being unfairly disrespected by an old guard legend who simply didn't appreciate her modern, brand-focused approach to the game. But while the internet raged, Candace Parker remained completely unshaken. Appearing on a podcast shortly after, she addressed the controversy not with anger, but with calm, measured professionalism.
Yeah, it's definitely a relief to know that there's nothing else going on and no more damage. Now it's just being patient with the process. You can't have 5-minute lapses against great teams. They make you pay, and they bury you in those moments. I think we've seen throughout the course of the season, where we've been really good for long stretches, and where we've weathered the ups and downs of a game, and we've got to be able to do that from a neutral mindset. We can't get into the playing conservative.
She stated unequivocally that she would never attack a player's character, and clarified that her analysis was based purely on basketball ability and on-court impact. Her response created a stark and telling contrast. On one side, you had emotional fans armed with box scores and personal feelings. On the other, you had a basketball legend armed with a deep understanding of what it actually takes to win championships. But while the internet debated her words, what happened next on the court was about to settle the argument for good.
Let's go! Let's go! Okay, we answered runs today, y'all. We
like they could have made a little bit of a comeback. We stopped that. And we sure did. Now we have to be able to continue to stack that, maintain that consistency right there. I'm so proud of you guys. So proud of you guys. That was a hard-fought win. You earned it. We got on 3, 1, 2, 3 together.
Candace Parker's opinion was one thing, but a single disastrous game against the Minnesota Lynx provided the undeniable proof that her assessment was spot on. This was the moment the mask slipped, exposing the fundamental flaws that Reese's impressive stats had been hiding all along. In this crucial matchup, Angel Reese committed a staggering 9 turnovers. This wasn't just a bad night, it was a complete and total exposure of her biggest weaknesses under the bright lights. These weren't the kinds of turnovers that come from aggressive, high-risk plays. They were fundamental breakdowns, sloppy passes that sailed over teammates' heads, blatant traveling violations from uncontrolled footwork, and panicked decisions under the slightest bit of defensive pressure. The Chicago Sky were competitive early in the game, but Reese's inability to protect the basketball single-handedly derailed their chances of winning. Her double-double for the game became utterly meaningless next to the 9 possessions she simply threw away.
Players benched in crucial games. But Coach Stephanie White had a different plan.
Austin, handoff, Cunningham too strong. Mitchell able to save the day. And it's Mitchell going right to the rim. Beats the shot clock and lays it in. Mitchell to the rescue.
Sessions very disruptive, causing all kinds of havoc, late shot clock situations. And then Kelsey Mitchell.
That horrifying 9 turnover performance wasn't just an isolated incident, it became a blueprint for every coach in the league. Opposing teams took notice and began studying the tape from that game like it was a secret weapon. They quickly realized that Angel Reese's impressive rebounding stats came with a fatal flaw. She cracks under targeted defensive pressure. Soon, teams began designing specific defensive schemes to force the ball into Reese's hands in uncomfortable situations, knowing there was a high probability she would make a poor decision.
Colson thought about the 3. Cunningham feed inside. Boston spinning, turning, ducking, finding Mitchell, who splashes home a 3.
Then something just clicked in the second half. Mitchell started hitting shots from all over the court. Her speed became a major problem for the Aces' defense. She was driving hard to the basket and finishing through contact.
This troubling pattern began to play out game after game. Reese would get her rebounds, but her constant turnovers and inefficient offense would kill rallies and bring the Chicago offense to a grinding halt. Her biggest strength, grabbing boards, was being completely negated by her most glaring weakness, a low basketball IQ in critical moments. Her reputation as a star was beginning to look more like a liability that her opponents were now eager to exploit, but the problem ran even deeper than what opposing coaches could see on the court.
Got 2 really good offensive coaches over there on the sideline.
Mitchell finds a cutting Boston, who lays it in. From Mitchell here on this one.
So you don't want anybody to cut across the front of your face, but it's just a really good delivery.
While fans and certain media outlets continued to celebrate her double-doubles, a much more revealing and damning statistic was emerging behind the scenes. This single piece of data completely shatters the myth of her importance to the team. A deeper look at the analytics shows an alarming and undeniable trend. The Chicago Sky's winning percentage is significantly higher in games where Angel Reese plays fewer than 30 minutes. Let that sink in for a moment.
Offense was not the issue for Indiana on Tuesday. They put up 84 points despite the absence of Caitlin Clark. Cunningham hit 5 threes, and it's her first tonight. Stay with Indiana.
So Sophie Cunningham doing a really good job of reading the stagger. You have options off that, and she's reading the second.
The team performs better when their supposed star player is on the bench more often. This pattern is the exact opposite of what you see with a true franchise player. When genuine stars like Aja Wilson or Brianna Stewart play more, their teams win more. But with Reese, more minutes on the court actually correlate with more losses. This uncomfortable truth dismantles the entire argument that her individual stats are valuable. What good is a double-double if your team has a better chance of winning when you play less?
Playing for Sophie Cunningham to start again tonight, or what's your...
Yes.
What is it about her, I guess, at the start of a game that you like having her in the lineup?
Another ball handler, another player who can create shots for her teammates, as well as stretch the floor. A really good defensive rebounder. as well. You know, we had at times really struggled from a defensive rebounding standpoint, so like that as well, and her energy.
This statistical anomaly isn't just an abstract theory, it's reflected in the team's brutal and consistent failures. Over the last year, the Chicago Sky have managed only one single victory against a team with a winning record. They are not just losing to elite competition, they are being consistently blown out, often in games where Reese puts up her signature empty stats. One analyst put it bluntly and perfectly: if Angel Reese is your best player, your team stinks. The numbers back up this harsh assessment.
So you had Melissa Smith on you. I would just clear it out if you're Mitchell. Just tell everybody to go to the other side of the floor.
Cunningham straight away delivers with a three.
Or that.
Her impressive-looking double-doubles come at the direct cost of team cohesion, efficient ball movement, and, most importantly, wins. The Sky have become a team that seems to prioritize one player's brand and individual statistics over the fundamentals of winning basketball, and their place at the bottom of the standings is the inevitable result. The WNBA has been sold a story about a new superstar, but the evidence points to a massive and misleading deception.
Vegas has done a nice job coming on the road, keeping Indiana Fever in check offensively, and Sophie Cunningham, you cannot lose her.
This entire saga has exposed the WNBA at a critical crossroads, one centered around a rivalry that feels increasingly manufactured. The league desperately wanted to build a compelling and marketable narrative around Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, a new generation's Bird versus Magic. The problem is, you can't force a rivalry when the two players represent completely different philosophies of basketball. Clark, for all her rookie struggles, demonstrably elevates her teammates and has transformed the Indiana Fever into a competitive squad almost overnight. Her impact is measured in wins, improved team offense, and league-wide viewership. Reese, on the other hand, represents a path of individual hype over team success. The league is now faced with a choice. Does it continue to promote the authentic, game-changing talent that lifts the entire sport? Or does it push the manufactured hype of a player whose style simply doesn't translate to winning?
Vegas got to lock in right here. One-on-one.
Donald pulls up and hits a three. But Lloyd got open on the other end.
But the problem goes deeper than just statistics. It's about perception versus reality. Angel Reese has been playing the role of a superstar, but her on-court function is that of a specialist. She is, in essence, a role player disguised in a superstar's brand. To her credit, she has marketed herself brilliantly. With self-given aliases like Bayou Barbie and Double Double Barbie, her PR team has done an incredible job of polishing a brand that sounds elite. However, there always comes a point when the Polish wears off and performance is all that matters.
Well, first of all, I started off with our defense. Our defense to get our offense going, and that's how we maintain games like that. We don't rely on our offense a lot. We rely on our defense to get our when our defense is going, our offense is going. So we limited the Vegas to one shot, and that's how we got open shots for the shooters inside the paint and everything.
This entire situation has revealed how a powerful brand can create a delusion, fooling casual observers into believing that a player's impact matches their fame. Marketing can only take you so far. Eventually, the bright lights of high-stakes games expose the difference between a carefully crafted image and a player who can actually lead a team to victory. This brings the entire WNBA to a defining moment, perfectly illustrated by the diverging paths of two franchises. On one side, you have the Indiana Fever. Their future looks incredibly bright. The excitement building around the core of Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and their supporting cast is completely justified. They are assembling a group with the chemistry, talent, and basketball IQ to become a serious championship contender for years to come. Then, in stark contrast, you have the Chicago Sky. They remain stuck with the Angel Reese problem. They face growing and uncomfortable questions about whether it's even possible to build a winning team around her as a centerpiece. While Indiana builds for the future, Chicago appears to be stagnating, trapped by a star whose style correlates with losing. This isn't just a debate about two players anymore. It's a real-time case study in team building, showing the long-term consequences of prioritizing hype over genuine game-changing impact. In the end, the truth always wins out. Candace Parker's ranking wasn't an act of hate or jealousy. It was an honest expert assessment from someone who knows exactly what victory looks like. Her analysis has since been vindicated by every costly turnover, every lopsided loss, and every damning statistic that shows the Sky perform better when Reese is on the bench. The Angel Reese saga has become a crucial lesson for all basketball fans. Don't be fooled by hollow stats. A double-double in a 20-point blowout is meaningless. True greatness is not found in a box score, it's found in the win column. The future of the WNBA belongs to players who make their teammates better, who thrive under pressure, and who understand that a championship trophy is worth infinitely more than any personal accolade. The hype has finally faded, and now everyone can see the difference between a role player and a revolutionary.